Hi folks, welcome to this week's Sunday Catechism. We are actually going to start using this book in our church services for the children who come along. So if you want your child catechized, bring them along to Scots if you're anywhere in Newcastle. We are at the 6th commandment, and one of the most misunderstood, but also one of the most important. What is the 6th commandment? The 6th commandment is, you shall not murder. What is the 6th commandment? The 6th commandment is, you shall not murder. Now, when I say it's misunderstood, it's because people go, thou shalt not kill. So what does that mean? You don't kill a flower, you don't kill an animal, you can't kill another human being. The Bible forbids capital punishment, it forbids abortion, it forbids war. Well, we know that the Bible doesn't forbid war, and we know that, for example, as we'll see, the state has the power of the sword. But the sin forbidden is murder, and murder in a wide context. So the two following questions ask what's required and what's forbidden, and we'll look at those. But just in general, think of what Jesus said. I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you'll certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. You've heard it said to the people long ago, you shall not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. So in that sense, I've been guilty of breaking this commandment, and I suspect you have as well. Some of the quotes from Thomas Watson are really good, so I'm just going to read you some of them. The sin forbidden is murder. You shall not kill. Here two things are to be understood. It's not injuring another, nor ourselves. We must not injure another in his name. We must not injure another in his body, he says. You know, life is the most precious thing, and God has set this commandment as a fence about it to preserve it. He made a statute which has never to this day been repealed. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. Genesis 9:6. And fascinating that Watson also goes into great detail about it's not just the sin of murder which is forbidden, but all the sins which lead to it, such as anger, which boils in the vein, envy, for example. Envy and murder, he says, are just akin. And the apostle puts them together in Galatians 5:21, envyings and murder. Envying's a sin which breaks both tables at once. Hatred, the Pharisees hated Christ, and so they killed him. Murder in the mind, that's the kind of malice. Whoever hates his brother is a murderer, and so on. And I think these are really important things. And I think in our culture, when we're thinking about murder, here are some things to bear in mind. If you're a soldier in a war and you have a prisoner of war, you don't kill them. That's murder. If you're angry with somebody, obviously you don't go out and kill them. You're going out and stabbing someone indiscriminately, going out and murdering someone because you're angry with them. You do not take human life except in the most extreme of circumstances. And given what I've been looking at on the Quantum podcast and other things, abortion is murder. There's no question about that. You do an abortion, you facilitate an abortion, you have an abortion, then you are breaking this commandment. I would say as we look at this, you'll see that there are other things which, in terms of neglecting people, or in terms of doing actual harm to people, that they both point towards, or they both are actually breaking this commandment. And also, there are different types of murder, aren't there? So the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit. And we'll look at all of these. It seems a kind of strange thing, though, isn't it? You shall not murder. It's a real principle to live by. And in Christianity, at least, we're given a reason for that. Because we're not just a bunch of cells, but we are, whether in the womb or out of the womb, we are human beings made in the image of God. And to take someone's life is to attack the image of God. Oh, how I wish our society and cultures would recognize and realize that. All right, God bless you, and see you next week as we look into this in some more detail. Bye.